Peace everyone, Unmask Art here, and I am finally back from vacation and ready to do another drawing journal. So welcome everyone. I see everyone going crazy in the chat. Let me just quickly say hello to everyone. Hello Cece, Sneaks, Danny, Christine, Barbara, Chrissy, Lily, Jeff, and let me see who else is in here. Gihan, Chris, lots of Chris's. Christine, Chrissy, Chris. There's so many Chris's. It's awesome to see everyone. Thank you all so much. And Lisa, I see you as well. Thank you for coming by. I hope that you guys enjoyed your vacation from me the last couple of weeks. I know that I had the absolute greatest time with my family, and it was an absolute blast to travel to the United States with my lovely wife Anna. This was actually the first time, believe it or not, that we actually got to fly together. That we got to fly together, because if you guys remember when we moved here, we got split up because there was like this weird thing with my plane ticket, and we were on different flights, and then that whole ordeal in Germany. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about skin tones for the 9 millionth time, and you guys can ask me all the questions that you want. But so Anna and we got back Friday afternoon, and oh my gosh, it's been so difficult like getting back on the same sleep schedule, because for pretty much since Friday we stay up until like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then we sleep until like 1400, because we were behind, and so getting to sleep at a decent time, like normal, like 10-11 o'clock, is kind of like trying to fall asleep at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's really hard to just jump right back into that. Yesterday we managed to like get to sleep around 2, but Anna had to wake up for work. I had to wake up and pretend to work. You know my schedule. But yeah, I'm gonna try to color something and also go through my story for the past 2 weeks, because I have a lot to share. I had so much fun, and I even have a couple videos to share. I'm actually gonna start off with that now. Maybe I should wait till later. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait till later to share the videos, because I was trying to get this set up before the live stream, and the OBS crashed because my CPU was going haywire. So I'm gonna wait until later to share the couple videos that I have. But yeah, I want to talk about skin tones, and to do that, I am going to start by coloring the nose. That's what I'm going to start with. And I kind of had this thought. Okay, I need to sharpen this. I had this thought like a day ago, because I knew that, all right, I have to schedule out my live streams, and now that I've started making them YouTube or Facebook events, that way I get more participation, and more people are able to know when the live stream is. I had to quickly get back on schedule. I had to wake up this morning like a normal person. And so the very first thought that I had was the idea of doing like a skin tone video, or talking about skin tones. I know it's a subject, it's like beating a dead horse at this point. There's really so much I can say about it, but the reality is I had this original thought. At least it was original to me, and I'd never thought it before. And I saw this. So if you guys remember, a few weeks ago I started this for whatever reason. I don't remember, probably because I wanted to practice doing portraits with pastels, and I was just doodling this for the last drawing journal before I left for vacation. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, I really want to work on it, because I am having a lot of fun with it. but what is going to be the topic? What am I going to discuss for the drawing journal that is somewhat related to what I'm drawing? And I realized, or I came up with this thought regarding skin tone, and I came to this realization of why skin tone, of all things, of anything that you could draw a horse, a dog, a cat, a bowl of fruit, a landscape, whatever it is you're drawing. Why is it that skin tones is almost like a universal complication among artists? I just, and it was just a thought that popped into my head, and then it occurred to me why, and I was like, that's going to be the center thesis of the entire drawing journal, and I will get to that idea. It's very short, and after I say it, I'm basically done. So I'm going to draw this out as long as possible. No pun intended there. Let me see. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions while I was sitting here rambling. I'm sure you guys just totally missed my rambling nonsense. Hello, Talia, Monty, Anna, good to see you. And I think Steve, I saw you in the chat. And who else popped in? Misty, Smart Art. You are new to the live streams. I'm glad you are enjoying my tutorials. Thank you so much. And yes, I do still have my locks. The closer I got to like preparing to cut them off, I was like, I've grown attached to them, and I decided I'm gonna hold off a little bit before I hastily chop them off. But yeah, I'm trying to stay on topic the best I can. Bear with me. I have to get back in the groove, okay? So it's been a little while, all right? First live stream post vacation, and it was such a nice vacation that it's gonna be tough to get back into the swing of things. As long as we are painting and drawing faces, skin tones will be interesting and new questions will occur. I am painting a portrait now, and I know why the skin tones are important. Yes. Okay. So back to the topic. While I attempt to impress all of you with my skin tones, the idea that occurred to me, why it is that skin tones it just seems that they're like this universal complication among artists almost at any level. I mean, I've been drawing for a long time, 20 plus years, and I only got into people maybe about 15 years ago. I'd say about 15 years ago I started doing people, but it was all graphite. Okay, so I didn't have to worry about skin tone. All I had to worry about was contrast. And then when I started to get into color, which was around 2012-ish, I think. Yeah, around 2012, so 6 years ago. That sounds kind of bad. Well, anyways, only 6 years ago did I really start to get into color. And I started doing portraits, and I immediately, as soon as I did like my first portrait study / figure / human form portrait color in oil paint, I just immediately fell in love with it because it felt like to me the hardest thing that I'd ever drawn or colored in my life. And that's what made it so appealing to me, because if you know anything about me, you should know that that I always say the day that I create a perfect drawing, painting, or anything is the day I quit being an artist, because it is that constant that constant approach to perfection that I enjoy the most about being an artist, because I don't really think that it exists. In fact, I would bet money that it doesn't. But it doesn't change the fact that I try. I try to approach that perfection to the best of my ability. And I felt like when I started drawing people and coloring skin, I realized just how much more difficult art can be. And I just felt like it was the hardest thing to do. Getting good lifelike skin tones, something that appeals to people. That's why if you've noticed, I tend to draw more of the attractive side of the human experience, at least what I perceive to be attractive. And that is because I find that to be even more difficult than, drawing somebody that would be generally considered less attractive. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. So when I got into doing skin, I listened to everybody that was better than me and talking about which colors to use and blah, 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 and all their thoughts and their feelings about what makes skin so difficult and why it's impossible. But I really never started to learn until I just did it myself and ignored everybody and just, tried the best that I could with the ability that I had at the moment. But the conclusion, or I guess I'm trying to think of the best way to describe the realization. Yes, the realization that I had why skin is so difficult is that when we're coloring anything else, we try to, capture the exact colors. We try to get everything the best that we can, and in most cases, especially if you're going for realism, photorealism, all of that. And there's not a lot of importance, say if you're drawing a dog or something, or any other wildlife, or a landscape. There's not really a huge incentive to perfectly, I'm talking flawlessly, capture the exact colors that you see. For instance, you're doing a landscape, maybe your grass is just a tiny bit more yellow than it actually should be. But what does that do to a landscape? If you accidentally have just a tad bit too much yellow in your grass, all it does is take it from a obvious summer time frame and maybe push it a little bit more towards fall, because fall tends to have a little bit more yellow in it. The grass is starting to die. It's not being as hot out, blah, 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 all of those things. But if you're doing, say you're doing a drawing of a dog or whatever, maybe the dog has a slightly richer red fur and yours is a bit more brown, maybe a bit grayer or something like that. But it's still going to look like a dog if you get the contrast, you get the texture and the detail in there. The subtle difference between that reddish and the grayish brown is not going to have that great of an effect on your dog. So those are just two examples, landscapes, pet portraits, whatever, wildlife, where you have this flexibility with your colors. You don't have to be as exact in order for it to look impressive or even realistic for that matter. However, if you apply that same logic to portraits like this, if you get that skin tone wrong, if you don't match those colors perfectly, either your person looks like a dead zombie, maybe that's redundant, maybe they just look like a zombie, or they just look off, like they spent too much time in the spray tanning booth or something. So that was the conclusion that I came to. That's it. Today's live stream's over. I'll see you next time. Take care. No, I'm kidding. But that's seriously what came to mind yesterday, or maybe it was Saturday, whatever day it was. And I it just popped into my head. I wasn't trying to think of anything in particular. It was just a thought that popped into my head, and I was like, how have I not realized that? How have I not realized that the reason skin tone is so difficult is because if you don't match the colors perfectly, unlike all the other stuff that you draw, landscapes, animals, flowers, skies even, you don't have to match skies perfectly for them to still look, like skies. I can't think of anything else. Truly, I can't. Other than people and skin, I can't think of anything that if you don't match the color flawlessly, it just looks wrong. So that's it. That's the conclusion that I came to when it comes to portraits, and that is why skin is so difficult for so many artists, and it never seems to ever get any easier. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, now that we have it cleared up why it's so difficult, what can we do to, maybe progress, maybe make it, how can I improve? How can I get better at doing skin? How can I get my skin to look better? And that's not an easy question to answer. That one's not as easy to answer. The truth is, there's just no shortcut for doing. You have to just do stuff, and that includes, trying to get good skin tones, and doing it over and over again until you've driven yourself insane. That's the real secret. I think the number one problem that I think people struggle with when it comes to working with skin is color fear. Well, my neighbor is here, everyone, to say hello, because I just heard him start to drill for like half a second. I'm sure you guys totally missed my neighbor. He must have just got back from vacation too and feeling the urge to drill. Don't you think your eye improves over time as you progress as an artist and you see colors more accurately? I don't think that, maybe metaphorically speaking, your eye improves. The reality is that you are less likely, as you become aware of optical illusions and how poor our eyes actually are for seeing proper colors and whatnot. You're less likely to fall for the all too common optical illusions that new artists unfortunately just can't get past. And one of those things that is most obvious is value changes. Value changes is probably the most difficult thing that people struggle with, and they're not even aware of. And once you become aware of those, you have a much more successful time at capturing proper colors. But there's a lot of tools out there. There's a ton of tools out there to get accurate colors. One tool that you can use is you can take like a what are those called? Note cards, or yeah, they're note cards. Where you make flashcards out of them for school when you're studying. And what you do is you cut out a square right in the center of the note card, and then you can put that square over top of your colors, and that helps you isolate it. against white paper. That way you can, it's kind of like an old school color picker, before everybody used Photoshop. I use Photoshop. That's how I capture my colors. I don't, there's no cheating. There's no cheating in art unless you're literally just clicking print and then saying you drew it or something. So I use Photoshop. I made a tutorial some time ago called How to Make an Effective Color Chart or Color Palette, and I show you how to do it for free, and it's essentially the same exact technique that I use in Photoshop to do my color choices, I guess you could say. I have Photoshop open right now, and I'm not guessing at what these colors are. I'm zoomed in on the face and I'm like, okay, I know what color I need to use. Do I need to change this sponge? I think this sponge here is from, I think it's from the landscape. Yeah, it's got a bunch of green in it. I'm gonna have to grab a sponge. Hopefully I have a clean one. I should have done this all before. Yeah, Pixelar, Chris, is exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I did that tutorial with, is I used Pixelar because it's free, and I show you step by step what buttons to use, or what buttons to click on and all of that. There's just no good reason to avoid using such tools. There's really not. I mean, it's no more or less cheating than using a photograph reference. There's people out there that make the false claim that you're cheating if you use a photograph for reference, which I find to be probably the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Because if somebody asks you to draw a dragon and you've never seen what people perceive dragons to be, then how could you ever create one out of nothing? Even if they explained it to you. Could you imagine what dragons would look like? Or if somebody was like, oh, can you draw me a tiger? Like, well, I've never seen a tiger, so I'm going to have to use a photo to know what a tiger looks like. That false claim falls flat on its face anyways. But yeah, so using a color picker in some kind of program can hardly constitute as cheating. Another thing, like with colors, trying to match colors. I don't know a good way to practice other than just doing. See, when I painted with acrylics way back in high school. I say way back like I'm actually that old. I gotta stop doing that. I'm gonna offend the real old people. And I know you're watching. Okay, so when I was in high school, I started painting with acrylics, and I've said it before, and I'll probably never stop saying it, but I'm a very budget artist. Like, I don't like to spend money. I don't like to spend money on anything. Okay, that's the truth. Anything. It doesn't just have to be art supplies, but I try to avoid spending money at pretty much all costs. And so when I was, looking to buy my own paint, because I was using the school paint because I was in, the art class, if you can even call it art class in high school. And so I went and bought acrylic paint, and I was like, well, how what is the smallest possible amount of paint that I could buy, but also paint anything I want? And I was like, well, I learned, or I heard that you could mix all the colors from the 3 primary colors. And I was like, 3 primary colors? I can get 3 paints. And then I was like, well, I'm going to need black and white for sure, because, you know, you need black and white. Video. So I bought black, white, blue, red, and yellow. The 3 primary colors plus black and white. And I painted everything with just those colors. I painted people, I painted landscapes, I painted other stuff I can't remember, but I painted everything for goodness, probably somewhere around 8 years. So I spent like 8 years painting with the primary colors, and I refused to buy any other colors, because I was like, I can do it. If I can't do it out of this, then I can't do it with more colors. And I credit that dedication of being the cheapest artist that I could possibly be for those 8 years, to being able to match colors really well. Because I can look at a color and look at, you know, try to match it and compare my color and be like, well, my color needs a little bit more red in it, or my color needs a little bit more purple in it, or my color needs a little bit more yellow in it, or whatever color is missing. I can look at it, I can see what color's missing. And, you know, after nearly a decade of just painting with primary colors, I can match colors like really good. And I'm not saying that everybody has to go out there and only paint with the primary colors, but what I am saying is, you know, it just takes time to learn to match colors, and you have to have the patience to match colors, because you're not always going to get it, you know, in the first batch of paint. You know, sometimes you got to just scratch it up as a loss and be like, okay, I need to start over. This color is not working, and I'm not getting any closer. So that's probably the best tip I can give when it comes to what I think you can do to start, you know, getting better at skin tones, is just practice your color matching skills. Because as I said, you know, if you're not getting the exact colors of the skin, then odds are your skin is just going to look either dead or overly tan, overly spray tanned, or like a clown. Yeah, that could also be a problem among the makeup. If your subject has makeup like mine does here. How about printing a portrait on normal printer paper and drawing over the top of it to see if the colors match? Oh yeah, Rob, that's also a good idea. Yeah, that's another one. I've seen people print out like their gosh darn, their reference photo. I don't know how I forgot that word. But I've seen, people print out their reference photo and then they use that as almost their palette for their paint to match the colors right on the paper. Yeah, that's another really good way of doing it. I would probably do that if I had a printer and I was willing to pay for the the endless amount of ink that I know I would inevitably use if I used that method. Probably not the most budget-friendly way of doing it. I like to use Photoshop just in its raw form because it uses no paper. But definitely excellent suggestions. What is the mural? That must be a different topic. Anyways, let me get into my vacation so I can make you all jealous. Let's see. So, Anna and I, we flew to Germany, which, was relatively easy flight. It's only a little over an hour or so. And then we flew into Canada. So we didn't even leave Poland before we had our first hiccup, okay? I didn't realize this, and neither did my wife. Well, actually, she thought of it and looked it up online before, I don't even know when. But one of our layovers was in Canada, okay? Now, my wife, she has a visa to go to the United States because she needs that. And, she knew that we were flying through Canada. So she looked it up to make sure she didn't need anything, like any special document, a visa to have a layover in Canada. I don't know why you would need that. Anyways, so we get to the Katowice airport, and they refused to give us our tickets because my wife did not have a visa for the layover in Canada, even though she looked it up and it said that she didn't need one. But we had to buy this digital visa. It literally was not used, okay? Nobody looked at it. Nobody verified it. Nothing. I don't even know how it works. But all I know is that it cost like $80. And fortunately, I had my iPad so that I could buy it online at the airport while waiting in line to get our tickets. And so I buy it, and then I show the confirmation email to the whatever those people are called, the lady that takes our bags. And then she gave us our tickets, and we flew, and nobody asked anything about some weird visa thing to go have a 4-hour layover in Canada. And I was like, what was this for? I still don't know what it's for, but it was really ridiculous. So once that hiccup was out of the way, everything was like easy breezy through there. So we got to Canada about an hour late, which was fine because we had a 4-hour layover anyway. I didn't want to be there any longer than I needed to be. So that went well, and then we flew into Cleveland and met my brother Ryan and my sister Lisa. They picked us up from the airport, and that was a nice drive down. We got pizza from this place called Soul Pizza the first night. It was super good. They had vegan cheese, so that was kind of a surprise, and also a good one, a good surprise. It was a good surprise. And then my sister Cece, she was out of town for like another day or something like that, because she was coming down from Michigan because she was working up there. And I don't know. I don't remember what day this was, but yeah. Eventually she came down, and we played some Magic, because that's what we do. We played at this place called Freedom Games. I think it's Freedom Games. But the first... we played F&M, so that's Friday Night Magic. And then like the following day or the Sunday, we played in a PPTQ, sealed for Guilds of Ravnica. And I don't know what was wrong with the people there, but my first opponent accused me of cheating, because he's a sore loser. And then my next opponent called the judge on me because I was trying to be nice and save time. Yeah, I'm not going to go into the details there, but it was not the friendliest of gameplay that I've experienced, but it was still fun, and it was the first tournament that I didn't have to play play against my sister, because it's nice to play against her, but I can play against her all the time. I don't want to sign up with in an 80-person tournament and then immediately have to play against my sister, because one of us has to lose, and that's no fun. That gets both of us kind of further away from winning the tournament. Let's see what else. Yeah, so that was basically the first couple days being in the States, which I expected. Then it was my dad's birthday. Now I'm going to attempt to play this video. It's from my dad's birthday, and hopefully OBS will not crash. Okay, I'm going to preemptively say this. If OBS crashes, I'm sorry, but the live stream will end. Because I don't know how fixing that will work. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and play the video. What you're going to see is my niece first. I had my camera, and I asked her if she wanted to be on one of my YouTube live streams, and I told her that I would share it. So anyways, I'm going to try to play this. I'm going to pause the music first. Make sure I pause or change, mute the music. All right, here we go. I'm recording now.
Oh, hi. YouTube.
Say it in the camera.
What?
Say it into the camera.
Hi.
Say it like you mean it.
I don't know.
I got...
Say, I'm Uncle Will's niece, and I love his art. And I just wanted to say hi to all the fans.
I want to be famous too.
Yeah, I want to be famous.
I'm cuter than my uncle.
Hey, here, you want to be on YouTube? Look. Say hi.
He's confused.
Hi.
Do I want to be on YouTube? I don't know.
Say hi.
Wait.
Say hi.
Wave to subscribers.
Christian, you want to say hi?
Hi.
What about you, cutie? You want to say hi?
I'm not saying anything.
They know you. They love you. Yes, so that is my family. Well, some of my family. Like I said, the girl there was my niece Kiera, and then her mom, my sister Lisa, was sitting behind her with her son Cade, and then the crazy kid that pops out of nowhere, that's Christian. That's my sister Lisa's other son, and he's wonderful. I love hanging out and playing video games with him. And then you could hear Cece in the back talking about telling Kiera what to say. And then for a brief second there, you could see my dad. I think he was probably eating cake. But yeah, that's some of my family. I'm glad that the OBS didn't crash. Oh, thank you, Christine. Yeah, Anna, she got her hair cut while we were there. I think it was like just a couple days after taking this video. Or was it before? I don't remember. Either way, she looks beautiful. I agree. And then I'm going to share one more video later because I have more of the story to tell, and I'm going to try to finish this nose if I can ever finish this nose. I'm going to do a little bit of the cheek here, so I have some. Got to get some more color in here. Anyways, so yeah, that was my dad's birthday. We all had a lot of fun, and we had some taco-y type meal. It was good. It was a good dinner, good company, a lot of fun, and it was just nice being around my family and hanging out. Oh, thank you so much, Rob, for the super chat. I loved your yoga drawing videos with marker and colored pencil. You said I was your inspiration. Just to thank you for always being helpful. Well, thank you so much, Rob. I super appreciate that, and I really do love your yoga drawings. They're such a cool subject, and they're just I love the colors that you can add to them, plus the poses. There's just something about that, like with some of those complicated yoga poses, it's almost like a still shot of like a dance or something, and there's such a story behind them, and some of the yoga poses are really, really cool. So I'm glad that you liked that, because you definitely were the inspiration for the idea of the yoga pose. So thank you for that super chat donation. And I didn't forget about all the super chat donations that everybody did for Inktober. I am going to be ordering some Copic markers very, very soon, along with a whole bunch of other art supplies. I have a lot of art supplies I need to buy, and I am super excited to get them. Your family is beautiful. Congratulations. Oh, thank you, Virginia. I appreciate that. Yes, I love my family dearly, and we weren't always the closest knit family growing up, but as we've grown up, we have just grown so close to one another that it is just fantastic. I love every minute I spend with my family. They're just fantastic, and I wouldn't trade a single one of them for anything in the world. They're just great. And this past trip home was also very amazing, and it was just I am beyond words to describe how great this past trip home had been. It was nice to have my wife there again, because the last time she didn't really get to spend a lot of time with my family, but this time she got to know them much better and spend a lot of time with them. Anyways, so next up in the schedule of activities for vacation, I sent Anna off with my sisters, Lisa, Cece, and my sister-in-law Lori, which is my brother's wife, and they went get their hair and nails done. Anna got her hair cut quite a bit. She got probably about, I don't know, like that much cut off, but it looks really, really nice, and it still looks long because her hair was rather long, but now that it's shaped a bit, it actually looks a bit longer and very nice. And my sister Cece, she got her cut as well, and then my other two sisters, they just got their nails done, as far as I know. But while they were doing that, I went to my brother's shop. My brother owns Tree Craft, which is a furniture company that makes custom furniture for amazing furniture. I can't oversell it enough. Very, very awesome furniture. Just can't think of the words to describe it. But I went there because before I'd left, I'd asked him if I could make something, and it pertains to my painting. So you could probably imagine what it is. I made. He helped me make just the most gorgeous walnut picture frame for my oil painting, the secret project that I've been talking about for way too long to have not completed it yet. And so I have it setting over there, but I'm not gonna walk over to get it because I said so. You'll get to see it when the video's done. But I spent the day working on that, perfecting it and making it just the absolute perfection that I wanted it to be. And it was a lot of fun to do. It was super great hanging out with him. And I built it. He turned on the saw a couple times, but for the most part, I did the actual building of it. So it was the first time that I've actually created something out of wood aside from my standing desk, which I can't really brag about. But that picture frame, I love it. I spent so much time like sanding the edges and like making it line up and getting it nice and smooth, and it's all finished now, and I just can't stop looking at it. I just have it set on my dresser over here, leaning up against the wall, and it looks good just like that. Like it's so nice that just sitting it on a dresser, it completely empty, it still looks really cool. Your drawing is staring at me very realistic. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Give us some examples of art supplies you need to buy. I wonder if my shopping cart is saved. I hope so, because I'd hate to have to click on that stuff again. Let me check. If it is, then I can just. Okay, I have 2 items here. That's not right. Okay. Well, one thing that I'm getting is the Caran d'Ache set of pastel pencils. I'm gonna blur out that. I'm gonna mentally blur out that price, and then I'm gonna get the Derwent set of pastel pencils. I want to have multiple sets of pastel pencils because I plan on doing a comparison video, and I want more. I just want more. And then I'm gonna get I think set D. I don't know which set it is. I was looking up which set of the Copic markers that I wanted to get, and I forget which one it is, but I'm gonna get a set of Copic markers. So that's the other thing that I'll be getting, and then probably just a bunch of other stuff. Paper. I always need paper. I'm constantly running out of paper, or feeling like I'm running out of paper. And I don't know. I had a really big cart that was like somewhere around $2,000, and then I went on vacation, and I think I forgot to save it. So, yeah. I'm not gonna do too much of the forehead right now. I'm just gonna do a little bit of general coloring here. Do I have an idea of a good cheap projector? I want to get one for murals. I don't know projectors all that well. The thing is, like, just get one within your budget. You know, you can find some pretty cheap ones, $200-$300. And if you're doing murals, spending $200 or $300 on a projector should be easy, because you should not be, you don't even say the word mural without already knowing that you're going to be charging at least $1,000. If somebody hires you for a mural, it doesn't even matter if that mural is, like 5 by 6 feet. Like, you do not accept a mural for less than $1,000. Trust me, you will regret it if you do not. Or if you do, take on a mural for less than $1,000, because I've done a mural before, and even though I charged what I felt like was a fair price, it was only fair to the people that got the mural. I should have charged a great deal more. It was 88 square feet. Okay, it was 88 square feet, and I only charged like $600. But they had to pay for the supplies. That's another thing. Don't pay for your supplies. Anytime I do a commission, which I don't do many anymore because they drive me crazy, but anytime that I would take on a commission, nope, I never pay for supplies. The supplies come out of the commissioner's wallet, not mine. Never, ever, ever pay for supplies. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about projectors anyway to give you much feedback there, unfortunately. Just find something in your budget. Find something that projects in HD. And you can even find projectors that connect through Wi-Fi so that you can have a picture on your cell phone, and then you can connect to your projector via Wi-Fi and project what is on your phone through the projector. So you don't need bringing computers or anything like that. You just bring the picture, hook it to your, connect it via Wi-Fi to your projector, and then there you go. So find something like that. You can find something less than $400 easily that does that. I know because I have one. I never use it, but I have it. When did I buy it? I don't even know when I bought it. I bought it like forever ago. Like, it's been 5 years or something like that. So I could probably find a much better projector than what I have. I don't even know what it is. All I know is that it's HD and it has Wi-Fi. So I could connect it to my iPad. I don't even think I have the app on my iPad. But I know that I can do it. I have done it before in the past. I've connected it. Never used it for anything, but I have it just in case. Just in case someone commissions me to do a mural. They would have a hard time swallowing after I give them my price, though. This drawing is starting to come to life a little bit. Her eyes need a little bit more pink to them. I don't quite have the color I want, though, unfortunately. This is pretty close, and I used a lot of this color here. Now you'll notice that I still haven't added any eyelashes. Now I mentioned that in the last drawing journal a couple weeks ago when I started this. Don't ever do yourself the favor. Don't ever rush to get the eyelashes in. Do the skin surrounding the eye. Get it perfect. Ignore the fact that she has bald eyeballs. Okay? You got to ignore that. I know it can be frustrating, and trust me, when I put the eyelashes on here, her eyes are just going to pop off even more than they are now, and they're going to look fantastic. But if I slack and I don't do the skin first around the eye, it's going to be a nightmare, and it's never going to look as good as it can. So don't rush. I have no reason to rush with this because I'm just doing it for fun anyway. I don't even care about this picture. What do you mean if someone asks you to do a portrait for X, you add the expenses of your art supplies into the final price? No, when nobody dictates my price, so I think that's the first thing you're mistaken there. Nobody, if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, would you paint this portrait for $400?" I'd probably say, what size do you want it? What medium do you want it? If they say paint, acrylic, watercolor, oil, you know, but I don't ever let somebody come to me and be like, "Hey, I'm going to give you $400 to paint this." I'll probably just say no. Or I'll say like, "Okay, but you're going to have to charge, or I'm going to charge you this much instead." Because you don't walk into McDonald's and be like, the dollar menu, it's just not doing it for me, so I'm going to give you $1 for the Whopper. I don't know how much Whoppers are. Whoppers are McDonald's, right? I don't know. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. Nobody walks into a retail store and holds up a shirt and be like, "Oh, this is $20. I'll give you 10 for it." That's not how it works. And that's not how I work, because I respect myself. So that's, I never do, I never do the, I would never do that where somebody, tells me what they're going to give me for something. I always lean towards the, with my prices, I always lean towards the side of the price where I think I can get the other person to say no. The last commission that I took, I told them a price that I was hoping they'd say no. They said yes, and I regrettably had to do the commission. But I got paid the amount that I wanted to get paid. Burger King has Whoppers? Gosh darn it. I don't eat that stuff, so I didn't know. What is... never mind. It doesn't matter. But I think you get what I'm saying. I think you get what I'm saying. Just, yeah. Don't let people dictate your price. It's not worth it. I think this is your best skin tone capture so far. Oh, well. Thank you very much, Christine. I appreciate that. I'm looking for a color, and I found it. I'm going to do some highlighting here. Got a lot of little highlights in the corner of the eye here. Can you tell me how to store pastels? I read something about glassine. I'm not sure what it is. Do you mean pastel paintings or like the pastels themselves? Because if you're referring to how to store pastel paintings, you could literally search that on YouTube and my video will be the #1. Because I did a video on exactly how I do it. And I do not use fixative, which most of you are probably already aware of. But that's a good question because I still get it from time to time. So the fact that you brought it up just gives me an opportunity to plug it into this video. I'm not sure if I have the the coverage here on the nose that I'd like to have. But I'm just adding in some of these white highlights here. They're easily coverable, so I'm not too concerned about them being overbearing right now. If you didn't like the picture, give it away. If you don't like the picture, what picture? Did I miss something? What are you talking about, Brenda? I like this picture. I first thought you were breaking the face into 4 squares and doing it different skin tones. Oh no, this is just a shaded face. Yes, the paintings. Okay, Danny. So yeah, just search on YouTube how to store pastel paintings, and you will find my video at the #1 spot. Yes. Oh, hello, Sasha. First time catching a live stream. Well, welcome. I am glad that you were able to join us for today's fantastic live stream that has been going on for an hour now. Speaking of live streams, if you missed it, I do have tomorrow's live stream. Tomorrow is going to be a pastel tutorial. I forgot to post it on Facebook. Oh, I'm glad I remembered. But I posted it here on YouTube and over on my Patreon page, because over on my Patreon page you'll get the reference photo and the easy traceable line art. I had a number of requests the past week or so while I was gone to do a pastel painting of a wolf, and so that is what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to show you guys how I use the masking film without applying it before the stream. So I'm going to quickly show you how I do that, because masking film is amazing and it works amazing, and you all deserve to know how I use it. At the beginning of this stream, your portrait on the left side looked very dark, but as you add color to the right side, it's pulling colors out. It seems a lot lighter. Super to see. Oh well, I'm glad you got to see that evolution there, because the forehead here has to be a bit darker on this side here, but I'm getting to it. Like I said, I'm not doing a whole lot to the forehead, but I do have some darkening on the edge there. I'm going to sharpen this pencil first. I forget, you know what? I forget where I was with my story of my awesome vacation. Right, building the picture frame, wife got a haircut, blah, blah, blah. That next weekend, we went to West Virginia to go snowboarding at Snowshoe. And I've been to Snowshoe one other time. I told you guys the story about my first and only concussion I've ever gotten in my life, and how I couldn't remember my girlfriend at the time's name. And I forgot the first 2 days I spent there. But aside from that, Snowshoe was amazing, and I did successfully get my wife on a snowboard for the first time in her life in West Virginia in the mountains. So it was quite an adventure. Day one, well, kind of day one was Friday, but let's not count Friday because we didn't really do anything that day. We just kind of got food and relaxed a little bit. Day one was actually Saturday, and it was unfortunately raining awfully bad in the beginning of the day. However, it quickly turned into a beautiful falling of gigantic snowflakes. And we went out, my sister, my brother, my sister's husband, Tom. We went out snowboarding. Literally the first time we go down the hill, we get separated. I swear to you. Tom and Cece go this direction. Ryan and I go this direction. And the rest of the day, we never see each other. We literally spent the entire day looking for each other. And there was only 2 ski lifts open. Okay, it was the opening weekend, so it wasn't the greatest conditions because half the snow park was closed because there wasn't enough snow, and there was only 2 ski lifts, and we managed to snowboard the entire day and not run into each other once. After we didn't even make it down the hill before we had already split off accidentally, and so that was only mildly frustrating, but it was still a lot of fun because it was the first time that I had gotten to snowboard with my brother, and it would have been the first time that I got to snowboard with Tom, but he was off with Cece, and we never ran into him. I couldn't believe it. It was ridiculous, but it was still a lot of fun. Definitely had a blast day one. And then we went back for lunch, and unfortunately it started to rain again, but it stopped a little bit, and then we went back for like another hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that. And I think I'm remembering that correctly. It's hard to remember. But at the end of the day, we hopped in the hot tub. We had a hot tub outside, so it was nice and relaxing with the cold air on your face, but with a nice warm water. And we just hung out for the night, and played some cards, ate some tasty food, and that was day one. Day two, Sunday, was much better because it wasn't raining. And that is when we got everybody out. We got the kids out to teach them how to snowboard. My wife, we got her to come out, and I put her on a board against her will, and I forced her the whole time. And she did not have any fun whatsoever for, I think, like the first 45 minutes. But I refused to give up on her. And I don't know if she'll ever strap into a snowboard again after the torture I gave her. But we had some laughs, and I think overall she can at least say she tried, and that's all I wanted. I told her like, we're going, and it is unacceptable to not try it at least once. That's what I told her. She held up her end, and I held up my end. I'm not going to force her into it again. Maybe she'll go to the dark side and try skiing, which I cannot help with because I've never done it, nor will I ever do it. But she feels like she'd have a bit more success with 2 boards, one on each foot rather than just one large one. But that brings me to video number 2. So I'm going to share an embarrassing video of my wife snowboarding. Here we go. All right. It's short, but I think you get the gist of how that day went. She basically screamed the entire time, and it was funny. It was a good day. She had fun. Don't let her tell you otherwise. Yeah, she was quite screamy that day. It was funny because most of the time she was like barely moving. She was like barely going down the hill, but she just couldn't help but scream like the whole time. Um, but no, she was a trooper. I mean, she definitely was not having fun. Like I said, for like the first hour, she was not amused at all by anything. But she stuck to it. She never did go down the hill by herself, but as you can see, I was there. I was holding her up. I made sure she was safe and wasn't gonna go off the side of the mountain or anything crazy. Um, but yeah, she did. She did all right. She did okay. She survived. All right, she survived. We made it through the day. But we did the same thing with the kids. We took turns training the kids. I spent a lot of the time with my nephew Christian. It was his first time snowboarding, and then Cece, she spent a lot of time with Kiera. Now it wasn't technically Kiera's first time snowboarding, but she was like 7 or something the actual first time, so she probably doesn't have much recollection of it. Um, but they both did good. Kiera did quite good. Yeah, she was standing up. She was going down all by herself and stuff. She did good. Christian, he was definitely new to the experience 100%, and he was quite afraid of the speed, which is normal when you first start snowboarding. You're scared to death of even going even a walking speed. But I, on the other hand, I have not snowboarded for like 4 years. It has been some time since I got strapped into a board. But I rode it like I had been doing it all week. I did not forget, even subtly, how to snowboard. It was quite refreshing to just be able to strap in and go down the steepest of hills that they had open at the time. And I only legitimately fell twice the entire time. Now there was kind of a third fall, but my brother and I both agreed that it doesn't count because so it was day one. It was like it was the second time that we were going down the hill. So Cece and Tom, they were nowhere to be found. But I just was snowboarding with my brother, and we were going down the steepest hill, which was, yeah, it was fine, a little bumpy, not the greatest snowboarding conditions, but it was still fun. Well, I love just going as fast as I possibly can. Going as fast as I can is the most fun I have snowboarding. I love it. And so I was going down, and there was this skier off to the left, doing what skiers do by getting in the way, because they just go back and forth constantly for no reason. He was doing his skiing thing off to the left, and I stayed off to the right because I was like, okay, he's doing his zigzag stuff. The last thing I want is this clown coming in front of me. Well, lo and behold, he managed to go all the way from the left side right in front of me, like last second. Now I'm going straight down this hill, okay? And he gets right in front of me and just stops. He just stops in the middle of the hill. And of course, I dig my edge in and I stop as fast as I possibly can. And I manage to not annihilate his ankles with my board. Okay? However, my brother was following me. Okay? He was right behind me. How close he was, I don't know. But what I do know is he was too close to stop. And so he full on tackles me. Okay? Like straight up WWE. Is it WWE? I don't know. The wrestling stuff or football, whatever you want to compare it to. But he just annihilates me from the back. And we both go flying down the hill. And the skier just turns around. He's like, my bad. And then skis off. Oh my gosh. It was so infuriating because skiers already drive me nuts with their back and forth nonsense. Because somehow they manage to take up the entire hill when there's only one of them. Anyways, no offense to my skiing friends. But yeah, so that was kind of the first wreck or fall, but it wasn't my fault. It wasn't even, I didn't actually fall. I just got tackled by my brother. So I don't count it as a fall. The two falls actually came on Sunday. The first one, I was doing a handrail in this, the terrain park where you do tricks and stuff. I got a little squirrely on the rail and I fell. Okay, so I fell doing a trick. But the second fall, like the real, true, legitimate fall, was probably the weirdest fall I've ever had in my life. Because it made no sense. I was just coming down this hill and I took a left-hand turn and I hit like this powdery spot and the board just like slipped out from underneath my feet. But I was back up in like half a second and already going down the hill. So that is the two falls. Oh, hello, Queen Sahara. Glad to see you in the live stream. Anyways, I am actually about to wrap this up. It's been an hour and I need to do the dishes before my wife gets home. It's like pitch black outside. It's literally 1600 and it looks like midnight. Okay, that is life in Poland. I just can't get used to it. I don't know what else to do. I didn't quite finish this, obviously. I still want to like work the nose. I'm still not doing the eyelashes because I still have more skin to do. I'm just going to keep working on this throughout the week. I'm not trying to finish it in any real time, but it gives you guys the opportunity to see my first real pastel portrait. This is my first time doing a portrait with pastels. I mean, I did some of those miniature ones in the past, but they don't compare to this one. This one is like a real size. The face is the size of my hand, so I have, I can get in there with some detail and stuff. But hopefully, I gave you guys some good insight with the coloring skin. I had the music off the whole time. I just realized. If you guys have any questions, you can always ask me. I'm always on Facebook. You can always join the Unmask family Facebook group as well. I'm pretty sure I have the link in the description. I better have the link in the description. But there's a lot of great artists in there, along with myself, that can answer questions if you have them. I'm trying to think of anything else. That was essentially the end of the snowboarding trip. Basically, the only thing I left out was the 4-hour drive there and back. But yeah, tomorrow, don't forget tomorrow's live stream, same time. I'll put the event on Facebook very soon. But we're doing a pastel woof, or a woof in pastels, however you want to phrase that. Goodness, it's good to be back. I like doing these live streams. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention, talking about live streams, is that while I was on vacation, I know some of you are on my Facebook page and you already know this, but so while I was on vacation, one of my other live streams went semi-viral, I guess, like baby viral. It got over 250,000 views while I was gone, and it made me $50 every day for like the past 17 days, which was really cool to come back to, because I came back to, I'm like, I'm so close. I'm so close to 50,000. I thought I was going to get 50,000 before I got back. I was super close, a little over 49,000. So really close to that milestone, which is great. And so I have high hopes. I have high hopes for tomorrow's live stream. I think a wolf is a good subject that people will be searching for and will be interested in. So hopefully tomorrow's live stream will go really, really well, and my channel will continue to grow. But other than that, I think that's it for today's drawing journal. I really, really appreciate everyone coming by. I'm glad to be back. It feels like it's been like a million years. If you work on the internet the way that I do, if you take 2 weeks off, and I was like not online, I did not look like at anything or answer emails or do anything. I was offline for like 2 solid weeks. 2 weeks offline is very similar to the feeling you have when you go off to deployment for 8 months and then come back, because I've done that before as well. And it feels like the world just passes you by. So it's good to be back. 2 weeks is probably the max that I could take off, and still be relevant by the time I come back. So I thank you all so much for coming by. Rob, thank you again for the super chat donation. Very, very grateful for that. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. So take care. Peace.